The secret is out. That was the movie we shared last month. Yes. Where are we? Oh, we were talking about, I'm going to revert back now to what the critics said about wants and needs, because very briefly they've touched on that. Wants versus need. When Walsh engages in what might be referred to as an argument with God, Walsh tells God that he just wants his life back. God replies, "You can't have anything you want." A disbelieving Walsh has to have the words respoken several times and still insists they don't make any sense, though he is not yet ready or doesn't want to understand what he is being told. He doubtfully continues writing down the dictation that will ultimately contribute to his books. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need. Apologies to the Rolling Stones. Another philosophical premise that the film presents with difficulty is a disquieting approach to the economics of spiritual life. With Neale Donald Walsch as the center of attention in this autobiographical, no pun intended there. With Neale Donald Walsch, we are witness not only to his wanderings through a life of poverty, but also to his emergence into a world of economic plenty and riches, which are rewarded to him in direct response to his ability to express himself to an audience interested in spirituality. Hello! The implicit message is that spiritual pursuits bring or can be converted into material rewards. While on the speaking circuit, Walsh comments to a friendly group. Imagine a world where money was given to people who give us the biggest gifts. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Those people, artists, musicians, authors, firemen, policemen. Do they not give you gifts? That's what I think. His comment provides an underlying rationale for New Age big business. Call it what you want. New Age, new thought. Call it whatever it is. It's new, it's refreshing. Admit it. You just gotta love it. And in real life, there's no doubt that such an industry does exist, with Walsh included in it. The critic talks about. The problem is that most of us are taught and believe that a gift is given freely, with no strings and not with a view towards measuring the return on investment. Walsh's statement conflicts with this basic understanding of what it means to give a gift. How can these two things, that we let go of gifts without control versus getting money for our gifts, be reconciled? Do you know how? Often, apparent paradoxes can be welcomed because resolving how two conflicting ideas can be true at the same time can lead to breakthroughs of understanding. The test of a first-rate intelligent. F. Scott Fitzgerald famously wrote, I love this right here, is the ability to hold two opposite ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. I think Fitzgerald was using more than 10% of his brain. If Fitzgerald is right, then many who ponder conversation with God, the ideas about compensation for gifts will find a tremendous opportunity to test their mettle. Contrast to conversation with God, concept of being paid for gifts with the sense of offering presented in Peaceful Warrior. In that movie, Dan Millman questions the apparent lack of success of Socrates. The gasoline station, remember the attendant who becomes his mentor? You know so much, how come you're working at a gas station? Millman asked. Without an ounce of defensiveness, Socrates responds, this is a service station. We offer service. There is no higher purpose. In spite of doubts about some of the spiritual messages conveyed by Conversations with God, the movie, viewers looking for inspiration will certainly be rewarded by a sprinkling of teaching in the film. For instance, God tells Walsh as he walks out of his bedroom to live your life without expectation, without the need for specific results. That is freedom. Perhaps this thought is the antidote for those who would seek to engage in spiritual pursuits for the hope of some reward. I call it living in the pure presence and the power of now. Not looking back, not looking too far forward, staying present, fully present, receiving the gift that life has to give us right here and right now. I love it. I love the movie. I love everything about it. And I love what one of my teachers, Reverend Mary Wood from Unity Christ Church, shared with me. She says she has this little paper on top of her desk. I brought it with me because I thought it was so good. And she says, this is a gentle reminder to her. Mary's a minister and a teacher, and she's also a human being, very human. And she said, on this piece of paper that I have constantly in my focus, she said, there's 4 things that I always remember about every circumstance, every situation, every experience. She said, first of all, I thank God. I thank God for that experience. And she says, secondly, I ponder and I take a moment and I think, it must be good. And then thirdly, she asks, what can I learn from this? What can she learn? When she shared these 4 things with me, I took that breath, just like that. We were in that moment together. And lastly, she asked, where is the gift? And at the same time, simultaneous, when she said that to me, I felt as though I received the gift, because what she had to say was so powerful in that present moment that was simply the gift right there. That gift that people pray for sometimes, for the peace that passes all understanding, for the knowing of how to get there. Every thought, every word, every action is a living prayer to me. And whether you call me tonight, or I sit here and I read from the critics and I share more about Conversations with God, I know that the message is coming directly from one heart to your heart, and that's all I need to know.